we can do our roll call. Commissioner Markham?
Here.
Commissioner Miller?
Here.
Commissioner Taylor?
Here.
Commissioner Smiley?
Here.
Commissioner Whiteford? Commissioner Johnson?
Here.
And Commissioner Smith Charles, present.
There.
I was down there.
All right, you have quorum.
I'm here.
Wonderful. Let us stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I was down here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Such a wonderful ring this morning.
I got it.
That takes us into the approval of our minutes. We have two approvals. First is dated October 22nd, 2025. It includes a closed session, and then October 30th, 2025 minutes. Moved by Commissioner Markham, supported by Commissioner Smiley. And we can, if no additions or corrections, we can do a voice vote. All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Opposed? Those minutes have been approved. Next up is the approval of the agenda. Motion please. Moved by Commissioner Taylor, supported by Commissioner Whiteford. Thank you very much. Anything to adjust? Anything to add? Anything to remove? Seeing nothing, we can do a roll call, a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same time? The affirmatives have it. Appreciate that. That motion carries. Next is our item 6, which is our first public comment. If anyone would like to address this committee, please make your way to the front of the room. You are permitted 3 minutes per speaker, and we ask that you relate these items to things on the agenda. Anyone here to speak to the body? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the first public comment. Next up is communications, of which we have 4. The first up is Board of Commissioners letter from State Rep Jason Morgan regarding local road funding. Next is the Economic Development Airport Committee meeting minutes. C is Water Resource Commissioner monthly report, new Public Works building, November 2025. And fiscal services monthly report, Pontiac redevelopment project, November 2025.
I'll move that.
So these are gonna be received and filed,
Great.
moved by Commissioner Markham and supported by Commissioner Taylor. And there are some folks here from these various departments if you have specific questions. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and prompt the vote.
You have 7 yeas and 0 nays.
Thank you. That motion carries. So then that takes us to our item 8, the County Executive Department recommendations. We have one item. It is a recommendation to the board. Executive Office, notice of intent to issue bonds for capital improvement bonds, Pontiac redevelopment project. Can I get a motion to recommend to the board? Moved by Commissioner Miller, supported by Commissioner Taylor. Mr. Leffler, Mr. Carlson, I saw in the building, so please come to the front with your CE department recommendations. All good?
Right.
We're working on getting one for you right now.
Okay. So you approved the communications already, so you do have the packets, but I'd like to get in front of the ED&I every once in a while, just to keep you abreast of everything that is taking place.
Sean, would you indulge us? Your face is so familiar, but please introduce yourself for the record. Thank you.
Sean Carlson, Deputy County Executive.
Thank you.
Aaron Wagner, Chief Procurement Officer.
And Brian Loeffler, CFO.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right. Actually, I have the Pontiac redevelopment project update. Can you pull that presentation up?
Is this?
This is the bond.
Yeah, this is for the bond one. I didn't know if you got, where did you get, someone sent it over?
They sent it over. It should be part of the
The
package.
other one?
Yeah.
have coffee here.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You got it?
No. No.
The other one?
Cannot wait.
Where's that?
Just.
Tell me what, the one that's in the,
The one that's in the
vacation.
Part of your communications.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, the funny
There it is.
development.
There we go.
That's it. There we go. Thank you.
All right, I'll try to go through this as quick as possible, and you guys can ask any questions that you have. So just an update here. So that's what it looks like without the Phoenix Center. So it's this is probably the beginning of October. I'm looking at the leaves, they don't, they're still in the trees and they haven't changed colors. So actually, they started digging down below in preparation for parking garages. Some key dates here, as you all remember, dating back to July 27th of '23. So this is just a kind of run through the transfer of property, the MOA, MEDC grants. You can see that we approved the demolition contract and that was in 10/10/24. Also, 5/22 last May, we approved the $174,525,000 for the Judson. Brian's gonna go through on stuff with that today, as well as on June 11th, we did the approval for the development agreement. And then you can see some of the key dates here in regards to, what do we have in store, what's coming up. Judson and Parking Structures receive final site approval. That's scheduled for this December. Judson will start issuing building permit for site and envelope, which is the exterior piece, and they'll start doing work on that. So you're gonna start to see some changes of the 31 Judson building. We are targeting the south deck. That is the one next to 51-111 being completed in next February. And then the north deck, which is on Water Street, being done in April. And we are targeting September 27th for Judson completion. So those dates are all consistent to what we've been sharing. There hasn't been any movement with any of that. We continue to push forward. We're doing great with our A&E designs and keeping on schedule. So this is just to give you a quick rendering. We've talked about this before, but you can see where the north deck is, and then the south deck is item 3 there. And this was what we shared in regards to the site review plan in front of the Pontiac Planning Commission that was approved by the board. You could see in the development agreement, we've got 5 parking levels for the north parking deck. We're looking at 429 spaces, and we're looking at 90 parking spaces per floor. We are looking and exploring of possibly adding another 2 levels to that structure in regards to meeting parking needs of the city of Pontiac, but we're also working with McLaren and some other developers as well on this. So I just want to inform you on that. South parking deck, we're looking at 610 total parking spaces, 90 per floor, 7 levels. And then this is just a rendering of the south deck, rendering of the north deck, the north deck promenade view. So if you were on Water Street walking south towards 31 Judson, this is an aerial view of the site and the project. So we are looking to have a development, this doesn't work on here, up on Water Street, and also you can see by lot 9, east of lot 9, we'll be working on potentially having a development there as well. Nothing is in concrete right now, but our Endeavor team is working with folks. This is just another aerial view of the property. This one is 31 Judson, so that's what we're looking at, the skin, the outside facade to look like. Just to point out, there will be solar panels that we're putting on top of 31 Judson. That's not shown in this picture. And that is not intended to be green grass on top of that building, so I don't wanna be, hey, where's the green grass? So
It's a rendering.
it's a rendering. This is just a
That's a good question, is it going to be a green roof? Not grass, but a green roof?
I don't think it is.
When you say green roof, I'm not sure, is it gonna be reflecting solar, I think one of the.
No, a green roof, it would be like it's planted on the roof with plantings, like trees and shrubs and all that stuff.
We'll ask that question, but that's, I don't think that's the
I
intention
thought
right now.
that was maybe why it was green in the
Because
picture.
one of the things that they were also looking at is putting in a different roof where there's gonna be windows that, that point north, so their natural light can get into that space versus just only on the side. So that was one of the things that they were looking at, just based on the utilization.
This, and this is just a reminder, we'll also have parking that is east of 31 Judson as well. So, let's see, Brendan's got some questions, let me
I know.
You love
work through here. This is the campus plan, just to point out to you, we're looking for development of townhomes down here, and then also this triangle lot here belongs to the county as well, so this is an example of our next vendor outreach event, or this is an event that we had in September and October, really encouraging small businesses to get involved and put in packages. We've got a couple of events coming up in December and January as well, similar events, correct?
And we have an event coming up on Thursday as well.
Yes. Now I just wanna take you through this real quick. So as you know, with Granger bids out our bid packages, so that we're getting competitive bids from the industry on each package. So you can see on bid package 1, just wanna point out, our estimate was 15.5. It was awarded at 14.7. We awarded it to a Pontiac-based business in a hub zone, and it was part of the union, Michigan Building Trades. So savings on this project, even when we work in the contingency, is potentially $1.5 million on bid package 1. So I'm gonna just draw your eyes to the bottom of the right on each one of these. You can see we had hazardous materials abatement. Bid package 2. And awarded Hub Zone, Opportunity Zone, Michigan Building Trades. And then we also had on the architectural and structural demolition too. So we just wanna share this information. These are questions that you guys have asked in the past, and we just wanna make sure we get this in front of you. Savings of close to $1 million of bid package 3. Our bid package 2, bid package 3, we're looking at a savings of about $10.8 million. We had fire suppression that went to Conti, mechanical and plumbing to Conti, and then Shaw Electric won the bids there. So Oakland County based, Michigan Building Trades, and then Southeast Michigan based. I believe Conti is located in Macomb County. So $10.8 million in savings on bid package 3. Bid package 4, I don't have, savings $270,000, elevator modernization, Hub Zone, Michigan Building Trades. And so you can see a savings of about $250,000 there. Bid package 5. And again, Southeast Michigan based building trades, and you could see Blaze Contracting and temporary fencing nationwide, so another $250,000. Bid package 6, I believe, is out on the street right now. We've got a value estimated range of $7 to $10 million on bid package 6. And bid package 7, I should be on. We've got an estimated range of 10 to 13 million. Here's the different bid categories that will be going out in February. And then bid package 8 is the interior fit out. And we're looking at an estimate of about $55.9 million. So a lot of work will be taking place there. We are working with Grainger of taking a few of these bid categories aside and trying to work with some small businesses, giving the capital improvements that will be taking place on the campus. We're looking to do some competitive negotiations in a couple of these categories to try to develop some entrepreneurs. The federal government sometimes does this in mentorship programs, and we try to help businesses kind of connect the dots. And so there's a few big categories that we're looking to take offline, competitively negotiate with some other small businesses, and they will work under the umbrella of Grainger, who is the construction manager on this project, but also developing some young small businesses as well, so that they can get developed and have an opportunity for some of this work as well. So I think we're looking at concrete, some general trades, and drywall categories. So sorry for racing through that, but that's it on the portion. And I just wanted to keep you guys all informed of what's taking place. I think it's been about 3 months since I've been here last. Time whizzes by, but I just want to make sure I was getting in front of you.
Well, you have a few questions in queue, starting with Commissioner Johnson, followed by Miller, and I think I saw Mark, I'm looking for the button.
The button.
But yeah, let's start with Commissioner Johnson.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Predictably, just, I don't think I asked why about the side lot. Why?
The side lot?
Yeah, surely it's just a space holder for a future development project, right?
You mean for
31.
Yeah, as people get jetpacks and start to fly around and don't need vehicles, yeah, we'll convert that property.
But since it's adjacent to a parking deck, a large parking deck.
Yeah. We will have some needs for this. I mean, part of this will be for the disabled community to have easier access. So we do have needs for the parking spaces on this.
Madam Chair, I have seen handicap spaces in garages before. And if it's for VIP parking, which I think side lots tend to be, in my time in the legislature, there are 2 garages that service the Capitol complex, and the Lieutenant Governor has a nice spot right there in the parking garage. And I don't think any of us are more important than say the second in line in the state of Michigan.
Guffaw?
So I would be perfectly happy parking in a parking garage, because land is valuable. Land is valuable, and if there's any way that we can ever increase density in a city core that desperately needs density, that's what I want to do.
Well, we will have the potential with the structures that we're building to add on parking decks, but we're trying to fit all this in and fit the parking needs with the parking studies that we've done as well. So it is calling for us to have some parking there as well as some street parking.
I understand. I'm a lifelong skeptic of parking studies. They tend to deliver negative economic benefit, but that's just me.
There's also gonna be EV chargers in these.
I've also seen those in garages though. That's a funny thing about those.
Yeah, but
But I'm gonna say, let me finish on that point, this is that they're also gonna be, in the development agreement, 2% of the spaces have to be EV charges. But one of the things that we have encountered in this development of the parking structures is the fire suppression systems that are gonna have to be installed for the EVs charging stations. And it's about 1.25 million per deck. So even though the likelihood of something happening, but it's something that when we look at our insurance carrier and those type of things, whereas in the open space, I don't have to put a fire suppression system outside, so everything comes with a cost, so to speak.
If I may, I just follow up on that as a 5-year EV owner. I've been very aware of where chargers are, and I'm curious, since we're redoing that street anyway, how about saddle stations on the street?
We talked about that also during the conversations with the developer and also talking with the city of Pontiac. What I would think that'd be great is that on the street is that they're rather having a food truck running a diesel engine to power their truck, you figure out a way to allow a food truck to plug into a pole so that they can run their it'd be a quiet and more quiet and better air quality as well. So that's all right now, the whole road stuff that's going on right now is being discussed, so that's as well.
You're in.
Yep, so thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Commissioner Miller?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Couple questions. So the townhomes you mentioned, is that something that Oakland County is gonna perform, or is that gonna be put
No,
out?
I mean, we are working with Endeavor to do that development plan. And so they'll continue to reach out and see who's interested. They're speaking with folks right now. Our main focus has been the parking garages.
Oh, yeah.
And I would simply say that if it's something that could come through the Housing Trust Fund and something like that, we're open to ideas for third parties come to the county.
No, that's great. And also I know just the different calls I'm on and stuff that the new administration is talking about when they open up, that the I always mess this up, CDBG dollars, they're gonna put more towards housing.
Okay.
Like they're gonna gear it more towards that, affordable housing, attainable housing. So that might be something to, we can get some benefit there, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. And then the other one, I do like the small business breakout. That's something that was one of my ideas when we did the best value contracting policy, right?
Right.
Because we all want, the goal is to get small businesses to go to big business, right? And have that cycle so everybody can thrive.
And I think sometimes there's been an impression or the suggestion or notion that I've heard in the past, that sometimes union work, we won't get savings if we, and as you can see from these bid packs, that's not the case at all.
Yes.
Yeah, so the competitive bidding process is working.
I appreciate that, absolutely. So I do like that you're gonna break out and work with some of the smaller businesses too.
Yeah.
That's what
We just, it's important, we have a huge opportunity here with this portfolio to try to help some other contractors
Absolutely,
come into play. And more competition ultimately helps the economy and the industry in the long run.
Right.
To helping cut tax dollars, whether it's here in the county or some other city or municipality that might have a construction project. So we always wanna look at developing small businesses.
No, I like it, because even the person that lives in the county, right, that maybe lives in Pontiac that's trying to grow.
Right.
They haven't got that opportunity.
Right, and they
Great.
just need some mentoring and they need
Absolutely.
some tutelage and we've asked Granger to take a look at this for us so that we can set some dollars. I mean, we're looking to set $10 to $15 million aside, and that might involve 5 to 6 different businesses.
No, I'm excited about that. I appreciate that. That's great.
I can say one more thing about this. The energy that the procurement office has done to allow this, working with Sean and also with Mr. Wigner and Alicia Williams. Just even on the 31 East Judson, the most recent vendor outreach for the parking decks is actually gonna allow us it when April and her team come for the CIP program, is that we're gonna keep replicating this. This is how we just have the ROI on our efforts. And on any type of the importance of the procurement process, I know you say that a lot, Commissioner, about that, but this is where you are going to see that reinvestment back into the county if we can make it work.
No, I love it. I appreciate what you guys do, more than that. Also, I just wanna, we've been having a lot of conversations about this project outside Oakland County with different people, with all the different things I do. They're excited about it. People are excited to see what's gonna happen so they can come and invest. Right, so I just wanna let you know, other people are talking about it. And they're looking like, we're waiting for you guys to get done with that so we can look at what's happening. So we might wanna put a business in there or something.
Build it and they will come.
That's right. That's what I said, but one of my favorite movies.
Me too.
My analogy is the pond in the stone. There is a ripple effect.
There you go. Both
Stone
work.
in the pond exhibit.
Two things can be true.
Yeah,
That's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you so much.
thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Markham?
Yeah, I'll be quick. I just wanna get your general sense of where the savings are coming from. I mean, some of them are really pretty impressive. And do you think it's because of the number of companies that you went out to solicit bids, or, I don't know, just, you know, your general overall why we're seeing such savings in the proposals?
Yeah, I think it's a couple things. I think the market right now is in flux. I mean, as everyone knows, you know, the tariffs are changing on a daily basis. Granger did a good amount of due diligence in pulling together these bid packs and researching the market. So, you know, they presented their estimates to myself, to Sean, to Ryan, just, you know, making sure that we were in line with this, because, you know, certainly we don't want to make it appear like there aren't savings when there actually are. And then the amount of outreach that we went through this, and I think it's, you know, we had the opportunity to negotiate in this, where in a lot of public construction, it really is, hey, you go out for an invitation to bid and the lowest price wins, right? And so we've added more of a request for proposal approach to it, where it's not necessarily the best or the lowest price. We want the best price for the best quality. And so that, I think, setting it up in that structure has really helped as well.
Yeah, and you can see, just as an example, I focused your eyes on the bottom right, but when you look at bid invitations, so if, you know, just to take you through this, you know, there's the bid categories, there's the bid dates. So we always want to make sure that we're out on the market at least 30 days. That is a federal benchmark. Invited 34, 9 bid, 8 declined. So as we look at the bid invitations too. So when you dive into this, you can see that we're really trying to get this information out to all the people that play in this space as well. So, and I think some of the other ways in our approach has been helpful to Aaron's point.
Yeah, and I mean, I will point out, if you look at the electrical bid on bid package 3, our estimate was shorter than what the actual award amount was. And so it's, you know, we came close to the mark, but we didn't hit the mark in every sector. However, because of all of the project coming together, there still are savings. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, great questions. Anyone else? Commissioner Taylor?
Thank you. I just wanted to add that from what I see here, it's coming because of the partnerships and the teams working together. Everybody has a certain expertise. I call them SMEs. And it seems like it's all working together and it's showing in what you're producing here. And I just wanted to echo my friend here, because small business, having that pulled out and having the community take part in that helps long-lasting effect in the whole project. People that live in that area, live in Oakland County, will bring their children and their grandchildren and say, hey, I was a part of this. My business helped build this. So it just keeps that going, and it gives us a sense of pride.
Yeah.
So it makes it even more important to continue down this road. And that's what I'm seeing and hearing here.
Every project has an opportunity to be just science-based. The numbers are the numbers, and here's what we're gonna do. And yeah, I know that company's from Toledo or they're from wherever, and this is the price. There needs to be an artistry with it as well. And the artistry is exactly what you're talking about, a sense of community. Because this isn't just a project and we're moving in. We're trying to develop a community and develop an approach that is a different approach that has been taken in the past. And we think that will have long-term impacts for the county, for the city, and for Oakland County.
I agree. And the families will feel a part of it, so that pride will be there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So in a nutshell, this is the first step in the bond process to publish the information pledging.
Yeah, you can't cut Brian short on his presentation.
You know, Sean will totally take the, he will suck the oxygen out of the room.
All right, so we'll save it, but
Brother from a different mother.
if all are clear on this topic, then we can prompt the vote on 9A.
No, so.
No, he needs
It's
to.
just a communication, so.
It's just communication.
Back up and went through the project
Oh,
the update.
so this is technically a communication?
Yes,
Not a communication.
or a prelude to Brian's, however you wanna word
We
it.
still have another-
Okay, so, okay, carry on.
So did you have to accept the, you're all set
I
with
think we
item
did it
number
already.
Okay, so item number 9 is what we're at,
No.
okay, and
8A.
8A.
oh, I'm 8A, that's right.
Yeah,
8A. Has there been a motion and for just,
We have a motion, so we took a
So there
motion
was a motion.
to take up 8A, notice of intent to issue bonds. I have a motion by Miller and seconded by Taylor.
okay, I just, alright, so
Oh, I missed that.
thank you. See, I was enamored by your presentation. Alright, so so this is the first step of is for the funding of the 31 East Judson project, and then also back on the original MR, talked about doing certain floors in 51-111 Woodward Avenue as well. That's the basis. So in this, turning to the first page, here's our little bit of our agenda in terms of some of the items that we want to address. But also what I wanna talk about is the financing team members, is that there's a host, again, like anything else, Commissioner Taylor, there's a team of financing. You probably have seen it on other WRC projects. Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, could have had that extra cup of coffee. So with that, on the issuer side, so you have folks from management budget, and then you also hear Jody Hall as our corporate counsel on our side. Also want to introduce Dickinson Wright. Jared Smith is the bond attorney. Dickinson Wright also works with the WRC on their projects. The municipal advisor is Baird. Kelly and James are here. But one of the things that we do for these projects is that we have to go out and sell bonds and access the capital markets. So there was an RFQ process to solicit information of qualification and bids from investment banking firms and commercial banks to fund these projects. This is the first one, that 31 East Judson. So with that, we had 14 firms that had actually submitted bids. There was an interview of 7 of those firms, and at the end of the day, what's in front of you, at least on the 31 Judson, is what we call senior managing underwriters. There's 2 firms, Wells Fargo and Truist Securities. Truist is a merger of banks in the southeast part of the United States. But what was impressive about their approach is that they really focus on the needs of the county and putting some really good comprehensive financial plans to access the capital market. The transfer agent in this case is the paying agent. Transfer agent is that we make payments to US Bank and then they send the money out to the bondholders. They're essentially the clearinghouse. And then on the development agreement side, PNC Bank, we're gonna be utilizing more like a construction loan to do that. And so with that, PNC Bank is very familiar here in the county. And then they also hire their own lawyers. We can't tell them who to use, but they've picked some firms. But it's also great to see new folks in terms of that were interested in Carly. I know Barnum has an office in downtown Birmingham or in the Birmingham area. So turning to the Pontiac redevelopment site, this is essentially very similar to what Sean was saying. You can see what we're looking at is the Judson, the south and north-south deck. Turning, and then turning here, and I appreciate what Sean was going through on the Judson project. This is another way, the pinwheel of, this is working with the information I received from Granger in developing the resolution the last time, we're coming up with the $174,525,000. Now, until all the bid packs are out, I don't know what is gonna be the final dollar amount that is actually gonna need to be bonded. But, cause there's 2 more left, big major ones that are left. So what I would just ask in this notice of intent is get the notice of intent, what would be published is letting the voters know that you're gonna be issuing bonds in an amount not to exceed this amount in 1 or more series. Once all these bid packs are done, and then they also provide the county a construction draw schedule, that's where we work with our financial advisor and then these underwriters to say, what's the cheapest way we can essentially finance the construction, the renovation of this project. So the first step is just getting the permission to do that. And then also on the redevelopment side, this is really the dollar amounts that we're taking from the June 11th development agreement. So we're in the process of still getting their guaranteed maximum price from us. But what the whole purpose here is saying, I think we're still on track of essentially being below these amounts, but I just wanna make sure that we are comfortable in that. Turning to the next slide. This is where the rubber hits the road, is how is the county gonna pay for this? So this is a graphic of the net direct debt that's also gonna be paid for by the county. As you're well aware, back in 2013, the county issued bonds to refinance the VIVA or the OPEB requirements for the employees. So the last 2 years, the purple bars represents the last 2 payments. So I'm using that $35 million is what's already in the county's budget to pay for debt service. So what we're doing here is going to then leapfrog over those 2 years and issue bonds. And in this case, or a drawdown bond for the, or a construction loan for the parking structures. But the debt service is gonna be set over the period, like you got the green, which represents the Judson Street, the orange represents the parking structures. And again, that I show you the yellow now, just is that I'm also taking into account the other county improvements that essentially your next action item is that we're looking at the next phase of starting other improvements in the county, and I'm gonna let.
Why are you pointing at us?
I'm gonna go with what Commissioner Taylor said, this is about partnership. So, but I wanna let you know is that we're taking this holistic approach in terms of how we can work together on financing this. But I think what's really important is the schedule. Is kind of similar, you probably saw in the last day on WRC projects, they come to this committee first to issue the notice of intent, which are essentially not to exceed. That gets published in the newspaper and then you have to wait 45 days. We are gonna have to come back to this committee and also the finance committee with the bond authorizing resolution. We're gonna have a lot more information in terms of, okay, nothing says we have to issue 174.5, nothing says that we have to issue 66.15 million, but it's giving us the opportunity. And I think you've seen this in other WRC projects where they get grant dollars, things happen, and so we just wanna make sure that we have room. It's really more importantly is because the notice of intent, there's a 45-day period that you have to wait. So nothing says that we have to do that. So with that, if there's any questions on the resolution, we've got bond counsel, we've got Jody Hall here. There's a question about the market, where interest rates are. That's what Baird is here to help us out with, but more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Brian. Yes, Brian, I'm looking at Brendan. His name here. So we do have a few folks in the queue, and I'll start with Commissioner Johnson.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Hi, so on page 4, just wanted to confirm one thing here, tariff contingency. If we lived in normal times where existing long-standing free trade agreements and partnerships with our friends and neighbors around the world actually mattered, would we need a tariff contingency? Interesting.
I mean, we specific, when we were working with Granger early on, prior to, for the first one, I was asking them, what is the tariff? Was probably about April after Liberation Day in May, not knowing what was happening. This number is just there just because we just don't know.
We don't know.
And so, but at least, I'll have to say, the team internally was always pushing Granger, said, is this enough? I'm just really concerned, is this, cause it fluctuates.
Well, if Ontario puts out another bad ad, it might not be. That's serious. I mean, Madam Chair, this is really, really offensive to the working families of Oakland County, but thank you.
Yeah.
And we'll really find out on bid pack 6, because that's where the steel bid.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
We'll
this is,
know in 30 days.
that's a, but
Okay.
trying to plan for it.
Right.
I
Thank you.
hope it's not needed, quite honestly.
Well, in that same line of question, on page 4 and 5,
Oh, yeah.
just trying to make sure I'm understanding under contingencies. On page 4, there are construction contingency, tariff, and owner contingency. Do those add up in some way or are a part of the 12.2 million that's reflected on page 5?
So on page 4, this is really just for the 31 East Judson and the 51-111 project. On the page 5, these were the contingencies amounts that I just pulled right out of the June 11th development agreement that we had at that time. So the contingencies were options that we may have want, like for example, if the contingency cost is, okay, what happens if the cost of the concrete slabs is higher, that's what we would be paying for that out of that line item. Cause most of the things that are the developer fee, which is essentially, and their construction manager, that's where we're pretty locked down or pretty close to. But our owner's costs are the costs that we are responsible for, like, in this case, we have Farbman, who's our owner's rep on this, that's one of our owner's costs, so that type of stuff, so.
Great, and then what's an example of an owner contingency?
So owner's contingency would be something.
And Joss is here.
Oh, there he is, oh,
Please.
So owner contingency, and Misty, you can jump in too, but if there's, when we get into the project, if there's something that we recognize that we would like to add or change, that would be part of the
Okay, like that green roof.
in other words, a change order.
You start digging and something wasn't supposed to be there and you
Right.
need to make
Oh,
some
please do some oil.
But now it's over there. The Clinton River was supposed to be there, but now it's
Were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say something like on the 31 East Judson, one of the things is that we're having to make sure that the site is ready for the parking structures. We're finding out, for example, they actually just imploded houses right into the former basement, so that to provide that site ready for the next entity that's kind of like on us.
Okay,
We assume that it was right, but it's not.
got it. Okay. Any questions more from commissioners? Alrighty, can I read my notes? So this is the first step
That's correct.
in the bond process to publish this information, pledging the full faith and credit. And as you saw the timeline there. And we are looking at a not to exceed of 240.675 million. Construction of 2 multi-level parking decks and site improvement. So that is our notice of intent to issue bonds for capital improvement bonds. We have our motion, we have our second, and so now we just need to prompt the vote.
You have 5 yeas and 2 nays.
Thank you. That motion carries and we will recommend this to the board. Next up
I got this.
is on my agenda, item 9A, Facilities Management Department recommendations.
Would love to,
I'll take a motion to recommend to the board.
So moved.
Thank you. This is an additional notice of intent to issue bonds for capital improvement bonds for county improvement plan. Can I get a second? Johnson, second, thank you. Welcome everyone, and we are anxiously interested in what you have for us today.
Well, good morning, everyone. For those that don't know me, I'm April Lynch, Deputy County Executive, one of the cohorts that I oversee is facilities. This is a project that I've been involved with since day one. What we have before you is a request to start to begin our capital improvements with our other buildings. So let me give you a little history for those that weren't here. We came on board and working with facilities, recognized immediately the amount of disinvestment that had been in all of our properties. To put this in perspective, we have 2.3 million square feet of office space throughout the entire campus of Oakland County. So that's all of the buildings that we own. That's an incredible amount of space to maintain. And so one of the things that we realized very quickly was that this was not something just to throw spaghetti at a wall and start fixing things. So I worked very closely with Ed and his team at FPE to start establishing a plan moving forward. We then had Plant Moran come in, Plant Moran Cressa, to do what we call an operations assessment or building assessment on all of our buildings. Sorry. What this did was allowed a snapshot in time, which was at the end of 20, I believe, beginning of 21, all the way through 21. It was a snapshot of our buildings. What that snapshot included is where are we as it relates to what needs to be repaired, replaced, and addressed. Now, this also, they were able to use a ton of information that the facilities have been collecting for quite some time and came out with hundreds and hundreds of pages worth of information on every single building that we own and where we are and where we stand. That number that we received at the end of that study was startling. It was just under $1 billion worth of deferred maintenance. That was in 21, 22, so that does not even include escalation costs and where we are now. So with that, over the last couple of years, we took that information and this team, with the next step was how are we gonna start to wrap our head around this? In a few minutes, I'm gonna stop talking and give it to these folks. So the first thing that we did and Ed really leaned into was we need somebody, a team that's dedicated to capital improvement. Not that FPE wasn't, but FPE also, the amount of services that facilities and FPE provides is unbelievable. Like it's everything from making a sign to building buildings. So we created a capital development improvement, or capital, what do you call it? Capital planning and design, you guys keep changing the name. A division under facilities to specifically address the capital needs that we have throughout the county. And so over that last couple of years with that study as Plant Moran is like kind of a guiding lighthouse, if you will, Misty and Ed and their team has created a master plan of how we are going to move forward starting to fix these buildings. Where we are today is a snapshot in time as well of what we need to do. This is unfortunately, I like it as underwear and socks. This is just to keep the buildings afloat. What you're gonna see as she discusses is major investment in things that are critically important to all of the buildings, including the one you're sitting in right now. We're talking HVAC systems that are being held together literally by Band-Aids and bubble gum. Electrical feeds, our tunnels are in disrepair, everything that goes below. Significant investment in ADA. All of the things you'll see as we go through where we are today. So that's where we landed. To put it in perspective before I turn it over, every quarter Ed does this great quarterly meeting with his entire department. And for the last 2 years, I've been telling the department it's coming, we're gonna get money for it. When I told them last month that we were gonna come here and request money, they literally clapped. That's where we are with this team, and they've done a phenomenal job of keeping things held together, but we're at a point now that the magic that they've been working is running out, and this is where we are today. So that's a little history of how we ended up where we are in the seat in front of you today. I'm gonna turn it over to both Misty and Ed to go over high level what it is that we're looking to invest in over the next, right now I believe this is a 10 to 12 year plan. You have a ton of information in front of you as well. I'll let Misty go over what's in there, but I think before you is just the first 6 years so that you're not overwhelmed with all that information. So happy to turn it over to them. And they're willing to take any questions throughout the process. So we'll again try to go as quick as we can without overwhelming you with too much information. I covered my, all right, so Misty and Ed, I'll turn it over to you. Should I have you guys together?
Good morning, Misty Grace, Manager of Capital Planning and Design. So I'm gonna try to run through this really quick, leave time for questions. As we all know by definition, bond funding is to support major facility improvements that are capital in nature. So I just really quickly want to talk about what's outside of that definition. So outside of that definition, we have the other needs that have been identified. We have maintenance needs, we have minor repair needs. So as we look at those needs, a PAYGO process could be something that could be implemented in future budget planning, and that can proactively support the maintenance as we go along through the years of recurring assets and operations and functionality of those facilities.
But before you move there, we are doing that right now. So that is part of this whole budget process is the bonds. As we are before you, Brian and Finance has helped Misty and Ed start to prepare the repair and maintenance fund, if you will. To continue with those forms, so just wanted to make sure.
And if I can just clarify too, the reasoning for that is so that we don't end up where we are today, right? We're gonna take these bond funds and get caught up, but while we're doing that and as we're moving forward, we need to keep funding the things that don't qualify for bonds so that we can maintain those assets so we don't get to a point where we are now.
So in regards to asset management, we're looking at what are those critical needs, what are all those other needs, and we're having a plan, we're having a lot of discussions on how we keep those on our radar and continue with those. As far as the identified needs, the county's investment of those key assessments, facilities management's knowledge of the historical maintenance of those facilities. It's anticipated that major components, as you see here, major infrastructure, these are the items that fall into those critical needs. So in front of you, you have this 11x17 packet. Individually, there's line items that reflect projects for specific buildings. This is for 1 to 6 years, but these list of projects, they roll up into the categories that you see here. The values that you see here also contribute to the total value that you see in front of you. And these values are anticipated to sustain the long-term value of the county assets, and that's facilities goals, is to sustain that long-term
I
value.
think the other thing though too is not only just the cost today, there's an escalation estimate in here. I mean, we're trying to make sure that we're realistic as to what that dollar amount is. So like, I don't wanna say it's $2 and when you know at the end of the day, 3 years from now it's $5. So.
And one thing I didn't mention too, and again, as we tag team here, I think what's really important to know is when we did that Plant Moran study, one of the things that they acknowledged was that somebody who holds this much square feet of office should have been investing between $10 and $15 million per year into their buildings. They had multiple years it was 0, and in most instances it was about 2. So if that number seems like it makes you wanna like choke, that's why we're here, is just we just didn't have the money at the time to do all of these things.
Another piece of material that you have in front of you as well is this really folded up large scale plot. So this is a roadmap, this really strong roadmap of how to take these components, these elements, and distribute this implementation across the 10 to 14 years.
I was just gonna say, it's the last page of here, but I told Missy we need 11x17 is not large enough, so she brought out her CAD design machine and.
Love it.
Plotted that out for you, yeah.
I thought it was the king 11, I thought I was the king 11x17, I just got
34 by 44, there you go.
You can now expect all of his
Yeah.
spreadsheets on that page.
I had to say this though, I heard that during budget season.
Yeah.
As far as cost avoidance, there's potential opportunity with a few facilities certainly for cost avoidance. We're continuing our conversations with Deputy Executive Lynch and CFO, looking at what our options are, and we look forward to just discovering what those.
I think this
Further
slide
conversations.
could actually be in the other presentation we had. I mean, this is where why we're moving downtown and it's really this avoidance. So it's in both places. I mean, we could have done it just as the graph. Go ahead.
Before she turns the page, I wanna talk a little bit too about what we're doing, again, to be proactive. Our team, both Ed and Misty's team, are leading, I'll call the master land use plan that will take our entire campus and have just as a community does, a master plan of how we're gonna use these buildings, what is the best use of buildings, the ones that we will no longer occupy, what does that look like, how we're managing our land, how we're managing our properties, all of that will have this foresight moving forward as people ask, well, what are you doing with this building, what are you doing with that building? This master land use plan will really help us to understand, where are there other opportunities where we can streamline services, where could we maybe eliminate other buildings as well, or is there a better use of another building we have? So this building alone is really tight. So as you move people out of here, what can we move back in here? So that is actually just started. So AECom is gonna be helping us. I think this will be, this might be our first master plan, isn't it? Or have we done it
We
before?
did one back in the 80s.
In the 80s, okay. So anyway, that's why we're doing.
Do you recall?
Okay.
One sooner than that, but it's long before COVID.
Yeah. So either way, that's gonna be really critical of moving forwards with another piece of information to ensure that we are moving forward in a very methodical, holistic approach to all of the things that we're doing on this campus.
Before you move from this slide, the highlight at the bottom, the two boomerang looking What are those?
Oh, so these are the office buildings, so this one down here in the middle here, that's Oak Point, that's out on Elizabeth Lake Road.
Oh, okay.
So in there is equalization, and so equalization would be moving downtown in front of the court.
And the red, is that just indicating our buildings or something more?
It's our buildings at the map, and then the ones that are circled here are those associated with the table on the right-hand side.
Oh, okay, perfect, thank you.
And so next slide, you've seen this before in the previous presentation, but an opportunity for Brian to talk more about finance.
I think the only thing also is that I stressed the model here too, is even though I talked about a construction draw schedule or we'd be doing this over in series, I just asked the Baird teams, like, let's do it all at once, like if we issued all the ones, I mean, we took the whole amount down, and so, yeah, we can fit it in the 35 million, so I'm gonna tell you right now, as time goes on, the level of these bars by project will change just because of what's outstanding or how fast we pay it off, or the bid packs that come in, so.
All right, questions? Anybody have answers?
Oh, I do see a lineup here. Starting with Commissioner Markham, followed by Miller, followed by Johnson, followed by Smiley. In that order.
Okay, well, thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, Ed can contest, this makes me so happy. From the first day I came to work here, I was like, so how much maintenance are we doing? I mean, the bath, everything, you could just tell nothing had been done. If what you say is true, and we didn't really look at this since the 80s, my dad was county executive when that happened. That means we went through, 30-some years here without really looking at this. I am so grateful that you have done the work to do a comprehensive look at the whole operation. It's really painful how much money it's gonna take, but I also, I really appreciate the thinking that's gone into the financing so that to the taxpayer out there, all this work is done and it's not gonna hurt them. It doesn't touch their their pocketbook at all. It's just good management of our finances. We have the bonding capacity, and as April said, the financing agencies actually think we're better when we're spending money to protect our assets. And so I'm really 1,000% in favor of, such a plan. Yeah, there's gonna be tweaks down the road, but you can't, now that you have a foundation, we can tell where we're going. And I think that's really, really important. And I just wanna touch base on the one thing that you said. We're currently now operating in a pay-go for maintenance kind of thing where we have a fund set aside to do maintenance and we project what's coming forward and we're operating that way. And that's different than what we were doing before?
So they had,
We do have a maintenance fund, our project funds, and those list of projects are ones that come before the beginning of the budget season and get approved for, the whole list. But the plan is to add funding to that so that we have the ability to, like, we're barely keeping up with what we have and we could use more, and the plan is to add to that.
so about a few years ago when Kyle came on, we started making adjustments and starting adding to that. So like for instance, right now, I believe in this current budget year, it's between 6 and 8 million that we've added to that. The goal is to keep that consistent and continue to add to that. And Brian and his team have been working to try to figure out what does that look like as we build that capacity up. And we've started calling it internally repair and replacement, because both of them are equal in what we need to do. So it was interesting to, even some of our newer buildings, we need to start paying attention to like the animal shelter. Like we're gonna have things are coming up, they don't make things like they used to. So HVAC systems we have some HVAC systems, I believe, that are in the 50 years old.
So one of the things we're doing in finance is that say new HVAC system, even on say 31 Judson's is gonna get put in here, it's gonna last 20 years, the building's gonna last 50 or longer. What we need to know is what's that repair cost or replacement cost in 20 years? And we need to start putting money aside so that we are not hit with a huge capital expenditure again. This is like deja vu. And I think we see that a lot, just because everybody's saying, okay, how do you plan for it? I think it's just changing how we do it. Definitely since I've been here working with Ed and his team and even April's, how do we need to do it? But appreciate the context, it's like they know, they're prioritizing it. And then you're probably gonna start seeing something different, even how we present that even in the next budget cycle. So that we're gonna be a little bit more open on that, so that you see, oh, what are these dollars? And don't be shocked that these dollars are gonna accumulate in an account year over year. It's not like, we need to carry them forward for things that we just don't know.
One of the things too with this that they're doing as part of this project is really beefing up and leaning in on their asset management system. So they've had one, but they're actually going to begin to maximize that system as well even further now that we're gonna have funds to be able to really truly understand, when things are due, and that will also help with the budget process of keeping that in alignment. Right now it's in thousands of spreadsheets that they've been trying to manage. So also helping them control those systems through a solid asset management plan will be helpful.
That's what I call being fiscally responsible. That's all I have, Madam Chair. Seriously.
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes.
First question is, how much of the work do we perform in-house? Do we do any in-house or is it all bid out?
We do some in-house, right? It depends on the scope of the work and our the scale of the work and our capacity at the time. So depending on what the trade is, what the job is, we do have some folks in-house, right? Our team is fairly large, we're about 230.
Yeah.
But they're spread out amongst many things that we do. But we do bid out and have annual contracts to help with our day-to-day services. And then when we have larger projects, we do bid a lot of those out for individual project contracts.
So we're piggybacking on, new RFPs for owner's rep, construction manager, A&E for the, so that we're not always picking the same ones, so that's open. So we're assessing lessons learned in the Pontiac and the development project, leaning into that, and then also that they can benefit from all the work that, Aaron Wagner and his team has done, and that they have a pool that they can pull from.
So you're bidding out more pre-qualified?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, we're having, yes.
The plan is, right, if we bond for 230 million, it'll help us, but it's not gonna help us a whole lot if it takes us 10 to 15 years to spend that money.
Right.
So we need to get as much of this work done, especially the critical needs, in that first 1 to 3 years. So the plan is to, like Brian mentioned, is to have multiple firms pre-qualified and then do something similar to what they do in the school districts when they have that short window of time in the summer to do all their work. And we'll have multiple AECM teams doing different projects, so we can get all that work done in parallel.
Smart. I was gonna say, Brian, get out of my head because that was one of my questions. Well, speaking, we'll add on to that, so are we gonna, should ask this last people that were there, but are we gonna do more pre-qualified construction managers because we're doing more work with the down on Pontiac, the Judson and all that, we do more there?
There you go, that's right.
Hey, how you doing?
And the answer is yes. And
Okay.
so I've been talking with Parks because they're also gonna be doing, as they've got new
Right.
funding, there's no more expansion, new facilities coming in. So actually, as part of the first draft of the owner's rep and CMs and A&E contracts, Parks is gonna have part of their requirements as part of this. So once we come back and they're all vetted, they're able to start pulling from these, so it's a wider scope.
Okay, and I'll go through it with the bid net, is that what?
Yep.
Yeah,
Gets
okay,
posted already.
perfect.
And the reason we wanna do that too is if escalation cost is 15% a year, we're
Right.
already behind the 8 ball from day one. The second thing is just so that the bond attorney and Jody Hall are concerned about this, is that when we bond for dollars, we have the dollars sit in our account, we have 3 years to spend it.
Right.
So otherwise we run into an IRS issue.
And it's also competitive, right? You wanna get the best,
I'm all about that.
that's the game, right? I appreciate, that's all I had questions, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Johnson?
Thanks, Madam Chair. I have two questions, but they're pretty simple if it's all right. I'm really glad that there is now going to be a campus master plan. I was thinking about that earlier. I think it's just utterly recklessly irresponsible that one did not exist for frankly, any entity that controls this much land and acreage and also office square feet. Like, that's pretty nuts, in my opinion. And I'm curious, when will that be done, or do we have an ETA on the rough timeline on that? They're not easy to write, so.
We're looking to have that completed the spring of 27.
Okay. Cool.
And that'll help inform, of course,
Everything else.
some others.
So then on that second note, kind of, with the like informing future decisions thing, looking at, and this is page 5 of just kind of our campus overview, obviously you've got 4 circled assets that are going to be impacted by our move of partial operations to downtown Pontiac. And some of those, I imagine, the ones from will be over 100 years ago when the moves do happen, are probably worth tearing down. But some of them, I would imagine the EOB and Oak Point specifically, you could sell off. And I guess I'm wondering, just definitionally, this is me being ignorant, how do you factor in cost avoidance with like potential, well, 2 things. One is potential revenue, right, from the hypothetical sale of those assets. But then 2, more of your socks and underwear fixes are, I mean, not all of them are efficiencies. Some of them are sunk costs, but a lot of them, lighting changes, HVAC changes, water changes, like you can derive significant cost savings from those too. How do you price those into the cost avoidance? Because some of those systems could hypothetically pay for themselves eventually too, yeah.
Right, so there's 2 ways. Do we, rather than bonding out for, say, all the lighting, we say, okay, do we have, we'll bond for it, then the question is, we can pay for the debt service on the cost avoidance on that side. On the sale of any other fixed asset, you know, that's gonna come to the point, it was that the money comes back to the bank, you're gonna have to give us direction of, we can certainly recommend, well, we can pay down bonds, or B, we can turn it back into other facilities. And that's all about a function of timing of when those are available. So it's gonna have to come back to these committee and the board and saying how we're gonna spend those proceeds when they come in.
And then too, because we have that land use plan, that will help inform the best use for those buildings. But also, while we're in the process of remodeling, there is you can't even breathe in some of these spaces here. They're so tight that we're gonna need some of them for swing space while we figure these out. So there could be a delay there as well. But the point that we're gonna really focus on is to try not to invest in high ticket items in any of these buildings until we know what we're gonna do with them.
Sweet, thanks.
Thank you. Commissioner Smiley, followed by Mr. Wyper.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, hi. Those were all great questions, and I really appreciated some of that information. My question's a little more broad, I guess. Going back to some of your initial statements about you did the original Plant Moran study, came back and it was $1 billion, you said?
It's under about 800 million.
Is that what that 841?
No.
No.
It's not even that, okay. But it was much more than what the bond is asking
Absolutely,
for. And it sounded like you kind of took that study and just broke it down to the socks and underwear type thing, which I love, that's great. You know, basically just to keep things afloat, you also said. So most of this, I know this is all just a clarification, but I'm right so far? Oh.
The things that are impacting what we do here, so for instance, I think for those of you who are in some buildings, you probably don't know that sometimes our electrical feeders just stop working. They literally are not being able, we don't have enough electricity to actually do things. We're unplugging microwaves literally to plug in other things. So we have a lot of broken infrastructure, roofing, lighting, ADA is a big one. So I guess a float would be just getting these up to modernized standards, yeah.
Protecting our assets,
exactly.
yeah, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. And I wanted to know that, but where my question is finally landing is, what are we not doing that you wish we could? I guess with the other things that Plant Moran study shook out, just not everything, of course, it was only so much time, but just a couple of examples of things that we'd like to do, we wish we could, that also need to be done, but aren't socks and underwear, or pants and shorts.
Yeah, we still plan on getting to all the things.
Yep.
But the assessment that was done by Plant Moran looked at, what we needed to do and what we should be doing for, say, the next 10 years and beyond. And what we're focused on right now are the critical needs that are needed within like the first 3 years.
So I would just say just a couple things were excluded. Courts are excluded. WRC has their own proprietary projects that they have, spaces that we lease. We have leasehold improvements, but even though we are spending dollars to fix some storage facilities, which is addressing, we gotta really come up with a better approach of how we're addressing whether spaces we own or the county leases. So it's really more, if you said what else is out there, there's probably more that we just really don't know what's behind the sheetrock, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're looking, that's part of that master land use plan will really be helpful because we do have a lot of buildings, as he mentioned, the storage, we do the rental. We rent to a lot of different places as well that we need to look at. Those were all, anything that we owned at that time, minus the forts, was in that study. So so we're in a good spot now in this, and the ability to continue to fund as we go along as well will help some of those unknowns. And then when we have that master land use plan, that will help as well to move us forward.
Okay, well, very good, that one last little tiny, so, but this is a separate bond, this 232 from the previous, item that was 240, something like that.
That's correct. The ultimate security is gonna be the county's general fund, but I just felt that it would be easier just to say, let's have the Pontiac redevelopment project as one bond financing, that you could at least track the dollars related to that project. Here is the county improvement projects, and this is what this is for, and that's the first phase is that $232 million. And this is where, again, as I mentioned before, we gotta be really comfortable that we can't, on even both of moments, we can't issue bonds and get the proceeds, we have to spend it within 33 years, so that's why you'll even see the language that it says issued in one or more series, is because as they change their projects, or even how we do the other ones, we just gotta make sure that we are staying compliant with federal law to be on a tax exempt basis.
Yeah, I understand, and I'm glad you mentioned it, I wouldn't have known that, but it makes sense, yes.
Sure, yeah.
All right, thank you very much, that's all I have, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Wyper.
And follow up on that, we do have the bond council and the advisors here, how is it looking trending wise on bond sales and rates and?
Hi, Kelly Mercer with Baird. So
It's wired, yeah.
we'd all love a crystal ball for interest rates, but as we've all been laser focused on what the Fed's doing, but the Fed is lowering short-term rates. And obviously, long-term rates have held in there pretty great for the last year or so. Obviously, they're higher than they were in 2021. So a 30-year rate in the 2021 timeframe was probably 3% or lower. We've run preliminary numbers for these projects at about 4.5%. So not terribly higher, definitely higher than the 2021 timeframe, but we didn't have that crystal ball. Everyone were locked in interest rates then, but I'd say 4.5% right now is still a very favorable rate when people did mortgages at 7-8% many years ago. That's what we're looking at right now. And happy to answer any other questions about the market.
And following up on the draw, I mean, you'll sell as needed, right? So you always will watch that.
Yes, that's correct. So working with the developer and even on this project here is that we would only want to pay interest on what we draw. I mean, one of the proposals that we had received who didn't make it to the final table here is because they said, oh, you have to take down 20% of what you want day one. And I only need, say, 5 million, you're gonna make me take down 20? No. And then every draw was a minimum of $5 million. Well, what happens if we only need 100,000? So it's really about interest and what's in the best interest of the taxpayer.
And following up on what Gwen commented about the agencies, you've talked at numerous meetings about the agencies look at us. We should be bonding something, right? I mean, for the ratings.
Yeah, so under state law, the county has a debt capacity of about $10 billion. We do have outstanding bonds outstanding. For example, the WRC has a significant amount of bonds outstanding. However, those are viewed as self-supporting because they charge for rates and charges for that. So the rating agency views that as zero. We do have a building authority for, say, the animal shelter. That's a lease that we have for the building authorities, very minor amount outstanding. And then the $60 million that's outstanding for the 2013 is it. So one of the weaknesses is to the county is the lack of investment in county-owned facilities.
That's commented by the agencies,
That's
right?
by Moody's specifically.
So that
That's a weakness.
factors into our bond rating.
Yeah, it's great to have all this money in the bank, but what are you doing with it?
Yeah.
That's,
And then lastly,
but I'm sorry, for last thing, we are gonna have to, so under state law, anytime you borrow more than $5 million, we are gonna have to go in front of the rating agency. So first quarter of 2026 is when we are planning to bring the ratings agencies here to Oakland County, because there's more than just the Pontiac story, even though we're gonna show them the site. But then we are gonna coordinate with economic development and everybody to show what else is going on inside the county. And it could be even everything from the, every time the water resource does projects, we do have conversations with them on the finance side, but we're gonna have to go say, okay, what is WRC doing? What is Parks doing? I mean, we need to show them the comprehensive approach of what's happening in this county. Now, it's hard to get above a AAA as a, I don't know. But what I do love is the glowing report that they write, so that's one of my KPIs, is not lazy.
I mean, we did have a window there where we didn't have to go to the agencies, right? We, just a few years ago, we had a window where we didn't ask.
Yeah, we did, there was one time where we didn't ask, we didn't ask for two, we only asked for one. So we do our, back to both Moody's and Standard & Poor's, so.
And then the hopscotching, so we've got for the OPEB or the retirement, so we got 2 years left, right?
Yeah.
2.
Yep.
And so
Actually, almost when you think about it, it's only 1 year left after
Well, yeah.
this.
So I mean, so is the timing gonna be so that when that drops off, that's what you mean with hopscotch?
Yes.
Or is there gonna be a little crossover?
No, what we're structuring is that we will be having like long first interest payments, which is the market accepts, or we'll just borrow the interest so we don't cause a problem in that first, it's really the year 2027 is really gonna be the year of challenge.
Okay.
Right, but again, until we decide how much we borrow or draw down, it's gonna determine what that hop is going to be, how big is that hop,
And you can watch that carefully.
every day.
Thank you.
Thank you though.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes, thank you. I'll be really, really brief. I'm really pleased with everything I'm seeing and hearing here today. And I'm really happy to hear you doing the master plan. As finance chair in Southfield, we did that and it's worth the time you spend to get it. Once you do, we do the rolling review every 5 years, but it's every year. And it's useful for all other departments as well as grants. And you'll find it useful in so many ways. So I'm very happy to hear that. And I just wanted to comment and encourage you to continue doing that. Thank you.
If you need a 5-year renewal, let's put it in your budget.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying.
I know, but I appreciate it, it's good to know.
All right, it looks like we've gone through our questions that I have hands up for. 2 takeaways for me is Southfield came to mind as we were talking about this because we need help. They probably just let that report collect dust somewhere on a shelf because it just seems to be many municipalities and school systems, deferred maintenance is the name of the game. With that in mind, knowing that the party that I'm associated with and why I'm here wasn't in charge for much of the time that we're talking about, I'm really looking for bipartisan acceptance of this bond because it was 30 years of deferred maintenance under a different administration. And so I want to see a unanimous when it comes to the full board at some point because I feel like, it just makes sense. So having said that, I will go ahead and call for the vote and hopefully we understand the assignment. We're also going to do our best to move quickly after this.
You have 7 yeas and 0 nays.
Oh, yeah.
Yay.
I now know who to bring to the end of the table.
But our taxpayers certainly deserve, we are a beacon on a hill and we should look like that. So moving along, thank you all for that. Takes us to our next
Makes me happy, Ed. It really does.
items. which is under
He's happy
I'm
too.
talking about.
Water Resources Commission.
It does their job.
And so this is a
That's
recommended forward
surprising.
to finance. Item 10A, contract with Plant Moran Real Point LLC to serve as the owner's rep for a new public works building. I'll take a motion. Moved by Commissioner Miller, supported by Commissioner Markham.
Yes.
All right, let's see. Water Resource Commissioner, please introduce yourself, your team, and we'll get started.
Absolutely, appreciate it, everybody. Always good to see everybody. I'm Jim Nash, Water Resource Commissioner. Ann Mavara is my Chief Deputy, Steve Korth is my Chief Manager, and we have Brian Coburn, who's been working on this project specifically for a long time. So,
You wanna sit at the table, Brian? I mean, you're working on this.
so basically, I'm just gonna let Steve go ahead, or
Sure, we'll quickly roll through this. This is a recommendation to hire a consulting firm for owner's representative for our new public works building. And this is an important contract because this firm is gonna provide day-to-day program oversight, gonna do coordination with the many, many consultants that are involved in this project right now, and also coordination with all the stakeholders that benefit from this project. So we worked very closely with the purchasing department in issuing requests for proposals. We received 5 qualified proposals, and it was evaluated and scored by a panel of 7 staff, including WRC staff, purchasing staff, fiscal services, and facilities management. We got it down to 2 firms that we interviewed by the same panel, and based upon the initial evaluation and the interview process, it's our recommendation to select Plant Moran Real Point, who are based in Southfield, provide the owner's rep services for this project. I'd be happy to address any questions regarding our selection process or the project itself.
Thank you. Plant Moran has their hands in a lot of things in a lot of different ways. Cressa comes to mind for sure. So this is called Real Point LLC. And are you here with Real Point?
I'm with Real Point.
Hi, welcome.
I'm Andy Fountain with Real Point.
Good afternoon. Cressa is now Real Point. That's
Oh,
clarification.
there it is. Okay.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you for that clarification. I think we are clear on questions, and I don't see any hands raised, so you did a great job. And with that, I'll go ahead and prompt the vote on the 10A contract with Plant Moran Real Point to serve as our owner's rep for the new Public Works building.
Commissioner Taylor?
I was thinking I did have a question, but
Oh, no. There's still time.
No, I revoted again.
I'm just, I'm gonna go with the group, but I'm just saying the difference is, you went with the higher one for Plant Moran here, rather than the Concord group. I'm not questioning whoever was on the panel, I'm just, is there a reason why? Sometimes I know the cheaper one is not always the best, but.
I'd be happy to address that.
Please, thank you.
Certainly in the overall review process, the best selection for this particular project was Real Point. And for my interpretation of the presentations and the criteria submitted, that we were really looking for the higher level of scope of services provided that Real Point proposed. That's why the higher costs associated with that. This is a big project for us, and being owner's rep, we really need somebody to handle the day-to-day operations of this. We all have our billions of dollars of other assets we have to manage, and so that's what we were looking for, was a higher level of service, so to speak, with more hours. And that's why the cost is higher than the other person that we interviewed.
So should that have been in the bid process for more support for you?
It was a qualification-based selection process, so it
I
was based
see.
on the qualifications first, and then cost was a factor in the selection
I
process,
see.
yes. So we were looking at the quality of the
Ultimately,
services provided,
I
not
see.
necessarily the lowest price. We're not buying toilet paper or paper towels, right? We're buying a service.
Understood, then that's why you have to work with them, so I'm respecting that. I just needed to understand that. Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, that was a good one. So we reset the votes, and I'm calling for the prompting now.
You have 7 yeas and 0 nays.
Okay, well, that motion carries and will be recommended to forward
Thank you so much.
to finance.
And
Thank you.
anytime you need information, just give me a
That's
ring,
fine.
give any of us a ring, we're here to help. Thank you.
Thank you, Water Resource Commissioner. Alrighty, up next is under Economic Development Department recommendations. 11A is a recommend to the board, Economic Development Veteran Services Interlocal Agreement with Suburban Mobility Authority for Regional Transportation, also known as SMART, for This Rides on Us Veterans Transportation Program. Can I get a motion? Moved by Commissioner Whiteford, supported by Commissioner Johnson.
Garth Wooten, Division Manager for Oakland County Veteran Services.
Welcome, both of you.
Thank you. This is an agreement between SMART and Oakland County Veteran Services to continue the This Rides on Us program for, we're extending it through 2030 this time, so we won't have to come back every year. Because of the success of the program, we anticipate about 15,000 rides would be utilized again this fiscal year. And the program has been well accepted. It also includes the other service providers, OPC, WODA, NODA, People's Express, to provide coverage throughout the entire county. Provides, I don't wanna, point-to-point transportation, I don't know if that's the proper term now, Eli, but basically to medical appointments, go to the grocery store, whatever that veteran or dependent needs. And again, we wanna continue this program. That's why we're here.
Wonderful. And obviously, oh yeah,
Tyrone
please,
Jordan.
Tyrone.
You will notice that the SMART agreement is a 5-day agreement, but we also have a 7-day agreement with all of the other providers.
I think I overlooked that. 5 days?
It's in number 1.
Oh, per week, okay. I thought, for some reason, I was like a 5-day contract, which would help us a lot. So, all right, wonderful. And needless to say, I had a little PTSD from last week. I asked Amy, I'm like, are we gonna need a special meeting between now and next Thursday? But it seems like this is a little bit different than the other one. I appreciate you mentioning the other 4 entities as well. We'll be filling in any gaps. I don't see any hands raised in particular. One thing I did wanna, because Sean Carlson was here not that long ago about promises made, promises kept with regards to the funding for this. So you were able to obviously come up with something to keep us through the year of 30. So I do want our residents, our taxpayers, our veterans to know that there was like no gap. We just maintained it and now we're extending it out if it passes. So thank you for your hard work on that. With that, we can prompt the vote.
You have 7 yeas and 0 nays.
Great, thank you. Next up is 11B, the economic development proposal for a solid waste processing and transfer facility located at 5351 Williams Lake Road in Waterford. This is a recommendation of the board. I'll take a motion to do so. Moved by Commissioner Taylor, supported by Commissioner Miller. Welcome Whitney, welcome Kristen, good to see you both.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kristen Milpay with Oakland County in the Economic Development Department. And with me today is Whitney Callio. If you recall, we've been working on a lot of the administrative tasks for the materials management plan. So we're still working on putting the draft plan together. And then that will replace the solid waste plan. So per the state law, any facilities that relate to materials management needs to have an interim process identified. And the county has approved one of those. And this is the first application for a solid waste processing and transfer facility in Waterford Township. And so this has already gone through the Waterford Township Planning Commission. It's been approved by the Waterford Township Board. We've also had a discussion with our Materials Management Planning Committee on the topic, and then we've reviewed it with Corporation Counsel, and we've determined that the application is administratively complete, and it does comply with the county's interim process. And so this is a resolution that is required by state law in order to be submitted along with Waterford Township's resolution to the state. And then if this is approved, the state can start their construction permitting process for the facility itself. So if you recall, materials management is diverting waste away from a landfill, recycling as much as we can before we actually send materials to a landfill. So this particular site will focus mainly on construction and demolition debris. So I'd be happy to answer any questions or answer anything that you may have.
Thank you so much. I just want to refresh real quick. I don't see any hands raised on this. And thank you for explanation on, really the crux of this to me is that Waterford is leading the way. Like this is what Waterford wants. It's not Oakland County saying, hey, you're gonna manage our waste, that kind of thing. So it seems like it's been handled in a decent and orderly fashion. Mr. Whitebird.
What, is there timing, it was the planning commission was in 23 and it wasn't the township board till 25, what was that long window?
Yep, and I do apologize, I did not recognize the applicant. Mr. and Mrs. Christensen are here with us today, and so, so they have also joined us. There was a consent judgment, so that took about a year to go through that process as well.
Alright.
Very interesting. Well, thank you for that. A little bit new to me, so great, and thank you for being here today to show your support. And if there's nothing further, we can go ahead and prompt the vote on item 11B.
You have 7 yeas and 0 nays.
Excellent. Motion carries and will be recommended to the board.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day. Up next is item C, 11C, Economic Development, Aviation and Transportation Grant Acceptance between MDOT and Oakland County International Airport for sealed pavement surface and joints at pavement marking. And this is a recommendation to the board. Moved by Commissioner Taylor, supported by Commissioner Whitebird. And we have wonderful Ms. Bush here. Please give us the grant information.
Thank you. Cheryl Bush, Manager of Aviation. This grant is a Michigan Department of Transportation grant. It's 100% state funded. It's in the amount of $166,000. And this is for maintenance of airport runways and taxiways. So this is sealing cracks and joints and pavement marking. And it'll be complete before the end of the month.
Wow. Pretty straightforward. Anything on this item, folks? All right, let's go ahead and prompt the vote on 11C.
Can I ask a question about
Sure.
your air traffic controllers? Can you just tell us your status with air traffic control? At the Pontiac Tower, they show up every day. There hasn't been any issue. They are obviously not getting paid. The longer the time goes on, the bigger a threat there is that they will not show for work. But so far, they've been a very tight-knit group. Some of the more senior controllers have got their arms around the younger controllers that may not have prepared as well financially for this. And so they've really been a very cohesive team and providing outstanding support to us. We owe them a lot.
Thank you for asking, Commissioner.
Yeah, I appreciate the question.
You have 7 yeas and 0 nays on item 11C.
Thank you, that motion carries. And without question, let them know we so greatly appreciate them coming in.
I'll pass that along. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, last up in terms of regular agenda is item 12, which is a recommendation to the board. This is under Transit Ad Hoc Committee recommendations. Item A, Economic Development, Oakland County Transit Division 2026 agreement with SMART for public transit services. A motion moved by Commissioner Taylor, supported by Commissioner Johnson. And Mr. Cooper is coming to the front to give us the 411 on this interlocal agreement.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. This agreement is for continuing the county's relationship with SMART for the provision of transportation services. The original parent agreement that was signed in 2023 sunsets at the end of this year, so this is a successor contract. Included within this parent agreement are a number of exhibits that lay out the detail in terms of the services, the budget, et cetera. Of importance in terms of the parent agreement itself, the contract has moved some items that in the past agreement were added in exhibits to manage and monitor customer service parameters. Those are now embedded in the body of the contract itself. It displays the interest that we share with SMART to improve their elimination of missing runs and to improve their on-time services. Within the exhibits themselves, I'm only gonna highlight a couple of pieces. A is the service, which will continue to receive the services that they're currently providing within the county. The budget in Exhibit B is $44.1 million. And that is for the full calendar year of the agreement. But noted within Exhibit B is a recognition that with the Smarter Mobility Planning project that was completed over the past year or two, there are considerations of expanding and providing additional service so that we anticipate that there will be an amendment at some point during the first half of 2026 to provide the resources necessary for new and improved services coming forward. Additionally, in Exhibit C, there's a request from the county for SMART to further disaggregate their information. So they've been reporting on the trips they've been carrying, but as a regional service provider, we're looking for specific information about the services and ridership from them within Oakland County. And then the last item that I'll call attention to is Exhibit G, which the committee just reviewed the Veteran Services Agreement. And so that's embodied within this agreement. It was also part of the local providers contract that was approved on Thursday. That concludes my brief presentation. Any questions?
Thank you, Eli. Just make sure, questions here, too many tabs, okay. I don't see any. Give you a second if you have any thoughts. All right, we can then go ahead and call, prompt the vote, please.
You have 7 yeas and 0 nays.
All right, motion carries. You have your 2026 agreement with SMART, so go get them. With that, we are through our regular agenda. Next is our second public comment, item 13. Is there anyone who would like to address this committee before we wrap up? Seeing no one making their way to the front, I'll close the second public comment. Is there any other business for us? Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned.